Right. Thank you so much, Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, all partners in this very successful initiative and simulation and the active participation of all of the members, from the students, from the delegates, and the great event that we had as well a few weeks ago in Cairo speaks a lot about accumulation of knowledge over time. You started with good partnership from the very beginning. Now it's good to have this approach to partner with a key university, I hope for the future as well, from one of the key universities of the host country for COPs. This year we did the partnership as the British University in Egypt with University of Zayed University. Next year I cannot tell you yet who will be the host because nobody knows, but there will be definitely a COP somewhere. But we know from now, perhaps you can start doing this now, from now, as I will be doing in a couple of hours meeting with a delegate from Brazil. And as you know, Brazil is a host of many outstanding universities and higher education institutions. So that could be a good idea that you need to approach them from now, not to step a lot on the toes of the forthcoming host, but good planning pays at the end. And Brazil is far. If it is going to happen in Central Europe or Eastern Europe, is not that far, so some good preparation would be required from here. That reminds me of a world full of acronyms of the PPP, PP, 5 Ps, not the public-private partnership, even if you add to them philanthropies, but it's about the other 5 Ps that's mainly for the students, not for their teachers, although it's not really bad to do that as well. It's about prior preparation prevents poor performance. So I'm not after prevention poor performance, it's all after perfection of the performance, as you rightly did in Cairo, and of what I hear of what you have been doing here as well in Dubai. So on the substance, and again, this has something to do with the preparations. A good question from one leading investor from Egypt, known to many of you, that we had during the business discussions. He said, well, whatever we get from COP to the other is just empty words. This time could be different because COP27 of Egypt took matters seriously. We worked hard on substance, and we prepared for the world what they have been waiting for many years, which is the loss and damage fund. In the first day, and people were speculating that this could be reached if we're lucky in the last day of the COP, but because of the good work on substance by the teams, especially the transition committee that had been formed by COP27, and the hard work for many days, for not just the 4 meetings in Egypt or the 1 meeting in Abu Dhabi, but the hard work for many days by experts in order to reach consensus. And as you know, even within your group, and this is part of the education of the simulation, it is hard to reach consensus, even if it is something like a game. That's not a game, it's a serious thing because you need to succeed and you are simulating reality. So what I'm saying here, that was a good outcome of prior preparation and hard work, and much of the work was not necessarily in front of cameras and in front of those who are collecting information about those who want really to appear once or more in the media. It's basically about the serious work behind the scenes in the kitchen, technical work, and tough negotiations, and we know now that brought a great outcome. So next time when you do the work for the simulation, I urge you to start with the dynamics of the loss and damage. It's not just about the fund. The loss and damage as an entrant in that big scheme of things is going to be transformational in the way that we're dealing with adaptation and our resilience, and the way that we're dealing with emissions and reducing them under the mitigation chapters of work. The other area that required a great deal of preparation, and many thanks to our hosts, the United Arab Emirates, for that very ambitious target of achieving $250 billion of finance through the fund that was announced the day before yesterday by His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed, the President of the UAE, of the $30 billion. And that didn't come out of nothing. It came out of engagements, public-private partnership analysis, catalytic funding to be mobilized, and a good test of the idea happened in Africa for $4.5 billion when that was announced in September. And then after that, they started to say what could be done better then at the global level, focusing on climate action with impact on the SDGs and pushing the private sector for partnership. So we have another example on bridging gaps. A third and final example on the finance side is serious work on the Green Climate Fund. This is a fund that was established as an idea back in 2009, got its name and the marching order in 2010, and then Paris Agreement had an emphasis on it, and then we needed the replenishment of finance. It's not the same world that we are assuming, with countries, some of them are eager to do better, and other countries are reluctant even to continue in what they start. So we need to prepare for this new world, that you need really to understand that the changes are the norm, the fast changes are more of the norm than ever before. It's a fast changing world with major disruption, but anyway, we managed to reach what we're after, especially with the fact that we have now $12,475 million of replenishment from 29 countries. Then there are two gaps. I'm seeing my colleagues here giving me the warning signs that I have to leave, but because they are in your domain and could be an area of research, postgraduate studies or graduate analysis. That's basically one related to the ESG and the criterion for dealing with greenwashing in the system and having adequate regulation to enhance investments in mitigation and adaptation. And this is quoting the Executive Secretary of the UNFCCC when he said it's very much the old Wild West when it comes to regulations in some markets, including the carbon markets, the voluntary ones. And the very final one, we are here with better abilities from Benban in Egypt to Zazat in Morocco, and from India and China. These are the countries that host the biggest solar plants in the world, and not very far from here, you know that the Emirates started one of the biggest and the most ambitious projects to have a solar farm here that was just opened a few days ago. It's a good competition, but this happened because of innovation, invention, R&D, taking science seriously and getting that into scale by production and getting that through implementation by public-private partnership and the adaptation of the technologies by sophisticated engineers. So in whatever your area of work in the future, there's definitely going to be an opportunity for investing in closing the gaps. There is another investment to write about the gaps, fine to do that, but closing them, even with a good idea, small one, big one, to make the transformation with good intention that we supported by implementation will be what could be expected from you. Having said that, I'm very grateful to the opportunity to be part of this exercise from its very beginning. I'm happy that student who became a teacher to many is taking the idea of simulations that we started many years back in at Cairo University in the 1990s. Now it is really having a different shape and a different outcome with good presentation skills, much better than your teachers in the past. Thank you so much.